Hello everyone, this is John, the man behind the curtain playing Snout Man, one of my favorite characters I have ever had the pleasure to RP. And although this is not the end of Season 2, there will still be one more character to witness, I would like to start doing little recaps here and there about some of these RP adventures, especially the more epic ones, to kind of put them into context and fill in some of the blanks. After all, these are very old highlights and they're not always complete. Parts of the VODs might be muted or missing, and which didn't really have issue with streamers playing copyright music back in the day, but that of course changed, and a bunch of the stuff got muted afterwards. So yeah, let's get down to business. Clyde was a character I introduced ages ago on Ark. I simply liked the idea of creating a monstrous, scrawny man with an extremely thick neck, and claimed that I got stung by a bee and it ruined my life. Especially my chances with ladies. That's one of my favorite tropes for some reason. Don't really question it, my mind is seriously warped and broken most of the time, and I found this character idea funny. The Ark adventures ended rather abruptly, unfortunately, but I still felt like this idea had legs. So I brought Mr. Clyde on TOO Season 2 in Conan, and yeah, decided to give him another chance. And straight from the beginning, the interactions were hilarious. Especially on this dynamic faction season with angelic and demonic factions and puny humans in the middle. Clyde was just a loser with a big nose and hilariously tragic backstory, but there was also this fire inside of him, because he wanted to become something more than that, something larger than life, a symbol of justice and consent. He was very big on consent, and as such, a mighty hero, superhero, Snout Man was born. Not the hero the world wanted or needed, but a hero nonetheless. Ready to fight crimes, most heinous. He was a fighter. He wasn't really built for combat, he didn't have any special abilities or skills. He just had his big nose. And he could smell bullshit from miles away with it. And there was plenty of bullshit and crime to bring to light. And so he became the guardian of the main hub, halting citizens left and right, investigating organized crime, drug activities, any immoral scum who dared to cross his path. He made connections, he made friendships, no matter if it was his reluctant sidekick Sebastius, the fucked up dominatrix, or a badass witcher with a cursed sword, or many others. Snout Man became notorious in his community. And although there were those who tried to lead him astray, there were also those who believed in him. One of them was the being of pure light and grace, the lovely angel Evangeline. But, as it always goes with heroes, they eventually encounter trials and tribulations. And for Snout Man, this encounter with elusive but ambitious vampires proved to be fatal. At first, he naively attempted to cooperate with them. Vampires, alluring by nature, could have been an important ally in case the demons ever got out of hand. But unfortunately for Snout Man, they had their own agenda, and they decided to transform poor Clyde and turn him into one of their informants, their agents of chaos, to spy both on angels and demons alike, to allow them to strike from the shadows and get the influence they always wanted. But then, to make things even more complicated, demons suddenly grew interested in Snout Man's activities. One of the leaders of revered demonic houses, Styx, decided to claim Snout Man as his butler, and made him sign a contract. Snout Man, naive and gullible, agreed to this exchange, even though it meant he signed his soul away, a small price to pay to continue his investigations, to get on the good side of this demonic lord, and gain some important influence. From someone who was essentially the mayor of the town that Snout Man loved so much. So in order for him to save the town and to change things for the better, he knew he would have to get his hands dirty. When vampires learned of this exchange, they were furious. The vampiric mistress Ling Ling demanded explanation, and no matter how hard Snout Man tried to explain this crazy plan of his, it was to no avail. He was deemed a traitor. He was imprisoned in a room with no means to escape. He was murdered in cold blood, against his consent. And so the story of Clyde ended, but the true story of Snout Man had only just begun. The demonic contract Snout Man signed just a mere day before he was executed allowed him to come back, in a demonic form, as a servant of sticks and tricks, the demonic twins. Thankfully, both of these demons proved to be loyal, friendly, and helpful. But they were still demons, and Snout Man only knew how to be a superhero, how to help people, at least in his own way. How to investigate crime. That was his biggest strength. The adjustment period wasn't easy, to say the least, and the growing desire to avenge his murder, his unjust murder, fueled his transformation from human to a full-on demon. And one day his wish was fulfilled. Whenever he met Ling Ling in town, prancing about like she owned the place, he threw down the gauntlet and demanded justice. The only way he knew how. Blood for blood. A duel to death. Snout Man became obsessed with revenge. He utilized all of his friends to help him train, and to become a powerful warrior so that he can ensure Ling Ling will never ever have a chance to hurt anyone else without their consent. The duel was supposed to happen on an ice lake, in front of 30 plus people in an attendance. The experience was terrifying, but it felt right. No matter if it was the final stand of Snout Man against injustice, or if it was yet another transformative moment for his character, both Snout Man and I were ready. We practiced for this. The story was great, everyone was excited, no matter the outcome, and thankfully for me, Snout Man managed to win the duel. It was a close fight, but Snout Man prevailed and had his revenge. Ling Ling died, but Snout Man wasn't happy. He was sad. From that point on, he was no longer a superhero, at least in his eyes. The mantle was taken away from him. He threw it away, because he became a murderer. Just another demon, without a soul or a purpose. After this moment, Snout Man became depressed, a fallen superhero turned demon. Even though he won the duel, he lost the war. He lost a part of himself on that icy lake whenever he dealt the final blow. He turned to drugs. He became agitated, provocative. You could even say evil. But there was still one person who believed in him. Someone who couldn't let him go down that path. Someone who saw past this demonic exterior of red skin and horns. It was his angelic friend, Evangeline. Her futile attempts to bring him back, to remind him that it doesn't matter who you are, what matters is your actions and how much you care for others. All this effort brought Snout Man to his rock bottom. And Evangeline reminded him that no matter what, she will always be his biggest fan, with a poorly drawn t-shirt of Snout Man's fan club underneath her angelic armor. Snout Man could resist no longer. He felt something he couldn't quite explain, something that shouldn't be possible. He felt love. But was it true love, or simple demonic lust? Or was this a demonic manipulation orchestrated by his handlers to perhaps learn more about these angels, to gain an opportunity to hurt them? Snout Man struggled to understand what was happening to him. He feared the consequences of his emotions. He only knew one thing. He cared about Evangeline. He cared for her, more than anything in this world. And because of that, he tried to remove himself out of her life, to protect her from any possible demonic shenanigans by distancing himself as much as possible. But Evangeline couldn't help herself either. Her angelic essence made it impossible for her to not care for Snout Man. Even as friends who went through so much together, the bond was there. And even though Evangeline was in a relationship with another angel, Hassan, the one who prepared Snout Man for his duel against Ling Ling, and someone Snout Man respected very much, the separation period didn't last. Both Snout Man and Evangeline couldn't stay apart. Their friendship grew, and Snout Man's attempts to protect her and to combat his emotions with reason failed. He fell in love with her, and when he found out she was about to get married to Hassan, he lured her into a secret spot, and he confessed his love to her, knowing full well how hopeless and unreasonable this last attempt was. And when he got it out of his chest, he went to the meanest and baddest angels that hated him the most to make his last stand, and to protect Evangeline while there was still enough humanity left in him. But unfortunately, none of them were at home, and his time ran out. As the days progressed and Snout Man's demonic transformation finalized, his love turned into an obsession and anger. All his demonic training led him to this moment, to take what he wants and what is rightfully his by any means necessary. Snout Man summoned a powerful malevolent spirit. He made a deal with them, and he asked for a favor, to kill Hassan during his wedding with Evangeline, so that he can claim her for himself. And so he went to the wedding, disguised, knowing he can live without her. He summoned the spirit in front of everyone, which killed Hassan and many other angels in the process. And when Snout Man saw this carnage, his fall to evil was complete. He ran from the scene, chased by a squadron of angels. But the furious angels caught up with him and summarily executed him on the spot, and sent him back to hell where he belongs. And so the tale of Snout Man ended. A big-nosed loser, superhero, vampire, dead man, demon, murderer, sad man, drug lord, anti-hero, and eventually a full-on bad guy embracing his demonic nature, which turned him into a jealous abomination.